Captain Marvel is back, and she's not alone. Carol Danvers finds herself in a world of confusion, as every time she attempts to use her powers, she finds herself switching places with Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau. Reluctantly forming a team, they have to work together to defeat a new Kree threat. It's the Marvels. I'm Ronald Young Jr., and I'm leaving the theater. All right, this is Ronald, and I am leaving the theater after seeing The Marvels. The Marvels, written by Nia DeCosta, Megan McDonnell, Elissa Karasik, directed by Nia DeCosta, starring Brie Larson, Teyonah Parris, Iman Vellani, Zawe Ashton, Seo-joon, and Samuel L. Jackson. And as always, for a complete cast listing, you can go to the link in our show notes. I know I said I was going to do this entire month alone, but I am not here alone. I am here with
Daisy Rosario. Hey, what's up, Ronald?
Welcome back. You haven't been here since Super Mario Brothers?
That sounds about right, yeah.
And you're wearing the same outfit.
I'm kind of wearing the same. I'm wearing half of the same outfit. Or I'm not wearing the hat.
Okay.
I was dressed as Luigi.
So the truth is that you spend your life dressed as Luigi.
I really do. I mean, this is what people don't understand, my affinity for the Mario Brothers. Like, I'm just rolling like this daily. Yeah.
All right, so The Marvels, this is the latest Marvel MCU film. It's been a little while. I don't even remember what the last one was. It's been a blender. There's been television shows, whatever. This is the sequel to Captain Marvel. It is also the sequel technically to WandaVision and also the sequel technically to Miss Marvel. It continues all of those stories. And honestly, it's Marvel's first real team up of the new era. And it follows the plot line of these three superheroes, Captain Marvel, Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, and Monica Rambeau all have powers, and when they use them, they switch places.
When they use them at the same time, they switch places.
When they use them at the same time, they switch places. So, that's where the movie picks up, and there's a bad person and all that. We won't get too deep into the details. Well, we won't spoil it, but we'll talk details. Daisy, what do you think of this movie?
This movie was not as good as I was hoping for, but better than Marvel has set my expectations at recently, I guess I would say. I think my real gut reaction is like there were a lot of moments that I was truly enjoying this movie and like getting caught up in the characters of it and like feeling this kind of sense of joy that I definitely felt, I think, at parts of the Marvel, this last 15 years of MCU that I've, like, when I've really enjoyed it, I've really enjoyed it. And so there were moments that it got me. And then we would go back into some, like, stuff that felt like Marvel's, like, paint by numbers, gotta fit things in. And then I was like, ugh. And so it was like highs and lows of that. It wasn't great, but I think it's better than a lot of their recent output. And, I mean, I think it's just really saved by Ms. Marvel.
And that is true. I think she is the heart and soul of this film. I think it made it easy for them to decide where's the humor going to come from, and they knew it was going to come from Kamala Khan and the rest of the Khan family in the movie. I agree with you. I think this movie is better than most of the stuff that we have seen recently from Marvel, but it's still not quite up to snuff. And this would be a different review if all of the Marvel movies had been horrible. If we just came out of this being like, that was pretty good. But this because we have come to expect a certain standard for Marvel, and that standard has fallen so far. We walked into this movie with low expectations, and I would say for me, it exceeded my low expectations, yes. But it did not rise to what Marvel used to be, and that would have been fine if they hadn't put out so much garbage in the last couple of years.
No, I agree with that, and I think but there were glimpses of those moments.
Yes.
And that's what really got me. I mean, I think you're totally right about kind of knowing that they could build on Kamala's relationship with her family, and that's where the humor would come from, because I think the humor in this to me was so much better than a lot of the recent Marvel stuff.
Agreed.
Even the movies before the movies really started falling off, the humor was getting just really rote and like just you knew what it was going to be. And here it was so much more built into the characters. I think in general, one of the things we've been missing are the dynamics between the characters, which is what Marvel did so well and so patiently to start. And that is truly what makes things about the Avengers and stuff fun, is the way they play off of each other. So even early in this movie, I was like, oh, we're going to have like a trifecta and like two of them have tension between each other. One is like really excited to be there. I was like, this is a good base to be working with in terms of like showing some fun relationship dynamics and actually enjoying that stuff. And so I think, when I had those flashes of like, ooh, I'm really enjoying this, or I'm losing myself in this, it was built around those moments. And then we'd be like deep into some like battle fight and I would kind of zone out and come back and be like, where are we? I literally, because there's only so much of it that you can watch. Like,
I agree with you, and I think that actually brings me to the pros of this movie being that it was a team up. We have not seen a team up in this era, and I think one of the things that get me that make Marvel so good is the chemistry between the characters. Yes. I mean, I recently just watched Infinity War, and then I watched Endgame, and I remember Infinity War, one of the most entertaining things to me is that Doctor Strange and Tony Stark meet for the first time, yes. And this tension that arises between them because they're both alphas, and they think of themselves as alphas, and the way they interact with each other is just very entertaining, to say the least. And I think watching the characters play against each other is one of the strengths of Marvel, which they did good here. The second thing I think they did good here was they put Nick Fury in a supporting role. And I think, like, after watching that show, Secret Wars on Disney, or Secret Invasion, I did not enjoy it. I thought it was way too much Samuel L. Jackson. I thought they changed the entire, the tenor, they changed everything of the Marvel Universe.
They lost me at AI credits.
Yeah, what?
They lost me at AI opening credits in that show. I was done.
There's AI opening credits?
Yeah, they used to like AI art
to make it?
To make the opening credits sequence.
Okay, I'll throw everything off a cliff right now. But no, I'd be like they, and then for me, when they set it in space, they set it in space, which was like incredible. Like there was just they added the Flurgan, and there's more to the Flurgan this time. You know, how did you feel about the Flurgan?
Man. I love the Flurgan. I think. Look, I'm a cat person, so there's that. But I think, like, that was the thing. Like, the other thing that works when Marvel tends to do it is just, like, lean into the silly and fun. Yeah. Not, like, to be cheap about it, right? Because, like, that's what didn't really work for a lot of people with the second, Thor made
Love and Thunder.
Yes. Not the second Thor, but the second one made by
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, now Mr. Rita Ora, which is a whole other thing I could go on a rant about. But anyway, I'll stay focused on movies right now. But like, I think like that kind of like, there's some real fun, weird choices in this movie, and like when they give into it, I really enjoyed those times, and I found myself just kind of delighted. But
there were two sets of those, and I think one of them I was like, Ronald, don't let it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with it. And I went with it, and I was like, perfectly fine. Y'all are singing, perfectly fine. Let's go for it. I'm like, let's keep the party going. So I think those parts all worked. I think you're right. And the thing that gets me is I think because this is like a better post-Endgame Marvel film. And I mean, when I say that, I mean, I'm looking at all of them. I'm thinking through all of the ones that I've seen. And I mean, this was one that I was like, okay, the joy is back. Right. The team up is back. The plot is good. The villain is pretty good. They have a strong motivation. They're not like just totally evil, which I think is always one of Marvel's better villains. So I think they did a very good job with a lot of things, but there were still parts of it, like you said, that just didn't rise up to the snuff. Still like a smashy smash, throw up the world, steal the sun type stuff, which I'm just like, ugh, I don't know if you needed all that. But like, there was enough that kept it grounded that I still thought it was a good movie. With all of that in mind, how do you rate this out of 5 stars? Okay, I always love reminding you that this is a show where we rate them.
Okay, I'm gonna go 3.25.
I like 3.25. I give it a 3.5. I know I liked it a little bit more than you. Yeah. And that's, in my mind, I thought it was 3.5, but I wasn't sure what yours was going to be because it was like, it was not an average movie. I think a lot of Marvel fans, you can reset your expectations for this to be all right. Yeah. And I'm saying that to everyone so that I'm not going to say, oh, it's great. I want y'all to know that this is going to be all right. And if you walk out still feeling all right, then they've accomplished what they set out to do. Yeah. And for me, that's enough.
Yeah. I feel like you and I have talked about before that like a lot of really rewatchable movies are like 3.5s.
Exactly. exactly.
Actually, five.
Around 3.
3.5s.
Yeah.
And so, that's why it's like, it really does fall in between those two for me. Because, like, if I think about it, I automatically don't think it's, like, the most rewatchable, but I could absolutely see myself clicking around on Disney Plus and being like, you know what? This one was all right in a way that I'm not going to do with certain other ones of this phase or whatever. Yeah.
I'm definitely not watching Thor, Love and Thunder again. Before I let you go, is there anything you want to plug? Like, you haven't been on a show in a while. Anything you want to talk about? Anything like that?
Oh, damn. Nah, man.
Put you right on the spot. Nah, I'm good. All right. Well, with that, Leaving the Theater is a production of Oh It's Big Ron Studios. Alexandra Ketch of Bias Studios mixes the show. Thank you, Alex. Show art from Heather Wilder. Theme music by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. For more information about the Marvels or Daisy Rosario, check out our show notes. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or Threads at Oh It's Big Ron. That's at OHITSBIGRON. You can find out more about this show and other Oh It's Big Ron Studios shows by following us on Instagram at Oh It's Big Ron Studios and on Twitter at Oh It's Big Ron Stu. That's STEW. Leaving the Theater will be back soon. Thanks for listening. And thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. What a treat.